Well, it takes us to all the sport now with Brandon Cook.
Get your fill of the action. STV Sport, sponsored by Papa John's Pizza.
Good evening. Aberdeen manager Stephen Glass says he thinks the introduction of VAR is necessary in the Scottish game. Speaking to the media ahead of their clash with Hearts tomorrow, Glass said he hopes video assistance could be of help to clubs like Aberdeen. The Dons were subject to a controversial penalty decision midweek against Rangers. Meanwhile, down the A90, Tannadice is bracing for what could be an interesting Tayside derby. It was this decision which got Dons fans talking. A penalty to Rangers earning Aberdeen a point in a game which they feel they could have won. Today, a suggestion that Scottish clubs will be offered a vote on VAR, something which Reds manager Stephen Glass says he would support.
I think it's coming down the line regardless of what happened on Wednesday night. I don't think that's something that's brought it to a head or anything like that. I think it's necessary. I think it takes away any of what people would consider to be obvious decisions that people get wrong at times. So hopefully it can be a help for clubs like ourselves.
It's a call which a bruised goalkeeper, Joe Lewis, is behind.
There'll still be ones where it comes down to an opinion. Some people think it's a foul or penalty. Some people won't. But if we can increase the percentage of correct decisions, then it's a good decision. Then it's a good thing.
Next up for Aberdeen is Hearts at Pittodrie tomorrow. It's been a good week for the Dons results-wise, but their injury list hasn't budged. As they prepare to face the only undefeated side in the league, the condition of their star talisman Christian Ramirez is still in doubt. St Johnstone know all about injuries. They've had plenty to contend with this year. 11 games in, having played every other team in the league, the Perth Saints boss reflected on the season so far.
It's been tough, I think, with the European fixtures added into there. It's been tough. We're in the semi-final of a major trophy again, which is an unbelievable achievement. I think, probably the European games with mixed in with the league games made it very difficult, and then the resulting factor, we've had lots of injuries since then. So it's kind of knock-on effect. It's been a tough, so probably the best word to use, tough, but encouraging.
Both St Johnstone and Dundee United shared the points in their respective matches midweek. Both want to go one better at Tannadice tomorrow. United boss Tam Court said he's glad his side's run of form is exciting fans, but his team are focused on the task ahead.
I think for fans to feel optimistic about their team's a healthy thing, but I think the key thing for us is to make sure that we're grounding the ideas, that we recognise what's actually given us the perceived success that we're getting just now, and making sure that we still recognise that there's a lot to improve upon, but it is also good to acknowledge that we're in a healthy and good place just now.
Well, elsewhere across the Premiership, there's some interesting clashes to look forward to. Celtic take on Livingston at home, and Rangers play Motherwell at Fir Park. In Dingwall, Ross County will be looking to use the momentum from their midweek thumping of Dundee to their advantage against Hibs. Meanwhile, the Dark Blues will travel to Paisley to play a Jim Goodwin side who are on a good run of form. Dundee boss James McPake says Wednesday's 5-0 hammering is behind them and they're focused on the task ahead.
We have had situations before where we've been on our knees and we've got back up and we've come back fighting, and that's what we're going to do. They're a good group in there, and we've got real belief in what we're doing, and Wednesday night didn't show any of that, we know that, but again we can't keep going back to Wednesday. We've got a massive game tomorrow and that's what we're looking forward to.
Certainly is a massive game. Now to the Championship, and Inverness boss Billy Dodds says he and his players are keeping a positive mindset ahead of their clash with Partick Thistle tomorrow. The Cali Jags were beaten 1-0 at home by Arbroath on Tuesday and knocked to second place on goals scored, but Dodds says he's looking at the bigger picture. Now to Cove Rangers, and they're currently leading League One on goal difference, and they've had the chance tomorrow to put some breathing space at the top when they take on Queen's Park at Balmoral Stadium. Boss Paul Hartley says there's a hunger to reach even greater heights after back-to-back promotions, but he's taking it one step at a time.
We do believe that we can be a championship club. Now getting there is always difficult, and if we could get there, is try and sustain it and stay there. So one day we want to try and get to the Championship, we want to try and get the club full time, just keep trying to build and try and improve and try and get better.
Rugby now, and Scotland co-captains for the week say they are splitting their responsibilities after being handed the shared honour of leading out their country for the first time. Jamie Ritchie and Ali Price are dividing leadership duties as they plot a win over Tonga to kick off the autumn test. Jamie Borthwick reports.
A new international season begins with a youthful feel. Gregor Townsend can't call on his English and French-based stars this weekend, so 4 new caps start against Tonga, with 4 more hoping to debut from the bench. And at the head of this new look side, a pair of co-captains bringing a fresh brand of leadership.
It's good. Don't have to speak as much. It's quite nice. Look, Ali and I have been kind of vice captains for a wee while now, so we're used to how each other works. We share the load in terms of training and messaging and stuff. So yeah, it's been pretty seamless, I would say.
To be given this honour is massive. I know my granddad likes a whiskey, and on my first cap, he had a few whiskies and there were some tears and he enjoyed himself, and that's what it's all about for me.
It was a dreich, altogether Scottish welcome for the visitors from the Pacific Islands as the heavens opened over Murrayfield this afternoon. The Scots suffered a shock loss at home to the Tongans back in 2012, and Gregor Townsend will not take the match lightly.
Forwards have to bring an edge, they have to be physical, and increasingly they have to be powerful. So we know Tonga has power. We know they will hit really hard in defence and in contact. They'll have a good set piece. So it's going to be a challenge for our forwards.
Tougher challenges lie ahead, with Australia, then South Africa to visit. Fans will hope for a glimpse of the future tomorrow, as well as a winning start to the autumn. Jamie Borthwick, STV News.
And that's all from me this evening. Some of you will be glad to hear that Chris will be back here next week. Have a great weekend.